everyone, it's Emma, and today I'm here with
me,
my brother.
Hi.
This is Will, if you don't remember him, but you probably do.
I tried to wink and I went.
A little while ago, I did a video that I called What Makes Me Slytherin. I think that's what I called it. Yeah, What Makes Me a Slytherin? And I basically talked about the fact that often when people find out my Hogwarts house, they're like, "What? You're not a Hufflepuff?" Points to the Slytherin blanket on my bed. I loved making that video. It was a lot of fun, and it brought up interesting discussions, and it made me think about the fact that in our family, like in the Green family, we have every Hogwarts house. So I'm a Slytherin. Our other brother Peyton is Gryffindor. Will and my mom are Ravenclaw, and then my dad is a Hufflepuff. So it was making me think about like how people relate to their Hogwarts houses differently, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought today I would bring in a real-life Ravenclaw.
Got one in the wild.
I went out and caught one by the Christmas tree, and I figured we would talk about that today.
That's where you find a wild Will.
That's where you find a wild Will. Just by the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I did a little research. I went on the interwebs, which is as close to magic as us muggles get.
Is as muggles get.
Oh, did I forget to say us?
Oh, is that what you said?
That's what I meant to say.
No wonder it was so slurred.
That was hard to say.
Is as us muggles.
Is as us muggles.
Is as us muggles.
Anyways, I did some research to look up the definitions and the things that characterize a Ravenclaw. So, Ravenclaws prize wit, learning, and wisdom, are very intelligent, they are highly creative, and also they value cleverness. They also tend to welcome very eccentric people, like Luna Lovegood. Gilderoy Lockhart was a Ravenclaw. So they tend to be like those clever people that are often highly unique.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want to be unique. And I think that they specifically value going about figuring things out and seeing things in their own personal way.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Ravenclaws are typically like. When I read that, I was like, oh yeah, Will's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also Mom. That's...
Yeah, I am like that. I've always had an interest in academic type things, like reading and writing and interesting problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy problem solving. That's always been my favorite part of a lot of the jobs that I've had, is having to solve problems on the fly.
Interesting.
Because it kind of provides a little bit of opportunity for creativity. I've also definitely always had a penchant for doing things in my own way, and finding the way that is most like me to do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not what comes most naturally to do it that way.
This is true.
I'm gonna find the way that's most like Will.
Yeah.
Do we wait for the...
We wait for the plane, yes.
It's still there.
That was one of the things that I thought was interesting as I was reading about Ravenclaws, is this is the same whenever I read personality type things. I tend to be oh, I'm not like that, when you're reading about the type that's not like you know? And then you compare. So Ravenclaws, how you were saying you have always had an interest in academic type things.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been how are you not a Ravenclaw, Emma?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because Ravenclaws have an interest in it just for the sake of knowing.
Yeah.
Whereas for a Slytherin, it's about achieving. I have to be good at academics because I have to be good at everything. And that kind of difference in what drives you, I think is really interesting.
Yeah, and it's definitely always been true that I love just accruing knowledge.
Yeah.
I gather knowledge like a dragon with its hoard
With
of
your
treasure.
jewels.
I don't use it for anything, I just nap on it. And I just like having it, It's shiny to me.
Yeah, no, see, I want to have all the jewels and then make them into an outfit. And then make them into an outfit. Strut down the, I was going to say the mountaintop, but
mountainside.
Yeah, the mountainside.
That'd be pretty cool. There's a level of crossover between us with that, though, where it's I'm also pretty ambitious. It's not for the same reasons. It's you're ambitious because you just are ambitious.
Yeah.
For me, I like to accrue knowledge and I like to get good at things, and I have ambitions so that I can do things that people haven't done before.
That's interesting.
Not because I actually want to achieve something among my peers or anything like that. it's actually like so I can make a name for myself in
Right.
a certain sense.
Which is very Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
It's like the whole Ravenclaw thing is like wanting to like make a name for yourself.
Right.
But not in the same way that Slytherins want to. I talked about this in my Slytherin video. In my Slytherin video, I was explaining how I'm a Slytherin by using the Enneagram. The fact that I'm an Enneagram type 1. As I was reading the Ravenclaw characteristics, I thought it was interesting that a lot of them remind me of your Enneagram type, which is a type 4. And also our mom's Enneagram type, which is type 8. I think this stuff is interesting because I think personality types are interesting, and we're like the Hogwarts Harry Potter generation, so we like to be sorted into things that like desire to be unique. That is very much a type 4 thing, like the desire to be different from other people in whatever you do, and also that desire to like find yourself or like make a name for yourself, that kind of thing.
And that's me.
And that's you.
Yeah. Yeah. On the Enneagram, I'm a type 4 wing 5. I have like a pretty strong leaning towards my wing 5, but the type 4 is also like really strong. If you read like any stereotypical depiction of a type 4, it's like usually really accurate, except for the ones that where people are like they just hate type 4s.
Yeah, you and I are very much the same in that like I'm a very typical type 1 unless you hate type 1s and then you read those comparisons and I'm like, you're just being mean.
Yeah.
Come on.
But yeah, I think the like biggest defining characteristic of a type 4, or like one of the things that it's easiest to like mark them by or find them by, is that desire to do things as uniquely as possible. And it like doesn't matter what the thing is.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, you're going to do it in a way that's different from other people.
Yeah.
Everything that I buy or everything that I set out to do or learn, I'm going to try and do it in a way that no one's thought to do it before. And if I'm not, then I'm not very happy with how it's turning out.
Yeah.
I feel like type 4 wing 5 is almost the ultimate Ravenclaw Enneagram because it has that, the type 4 is the creative, sort of unique, and then the wing 5 is the academic leaning.
Like wanting to acquire knowledge. And
having like a curiosity about knowledge, like an adventurous kind of spirit about it.
Yeah.
Thinking creatively, even when it does come to facts, academic.
Yeah. I think it's a really interesting personality type, and it's made me be more interested in Ravenclaws because I'm very much not a Ravenclaw. And I feel like the Ravenclaws in the Harry Potter books, pretty much any of the other houses other than Gryffindor, you don't like really get to see them. Reading about this and then thinking about the Enneagram, it's like, I don't know, I just think that Ravenclaws are very interesting.
I feel like there is also, like, this is true of type 4s also, in the Ravenclaw house. I think it is true that there's a very specific spirit that they all kind of, like, have to have. And so I would assume, like, if we were in Hogwarts, that there would be less Ravenclaws, probably, than some of the other houses.
Yeah.
But also that they would all be pretty varied as far as like what they turn out to do and stuff like that. A lot of teachers, but also maybe more adventurous people, you know, would be aurors and charm crafters, that kind of thing. Like I feel like there's like could be a wide range of types of people in Ravenclaw.
And I think even when, like, if you looked at Hogwarts while the students were there, I feel like Ravenclaws would have a very similar attitude about them, but I feel like they themselves would be really varied.
Right.
Like in what they look like, in what their interests are. One of the things that I found while I was reading about Ravenclaws is that Professor Flitwick is a Ravenclaw, which I think I knew because I think he's the head of the house, right? But what I didn't know is that before he became like the charms professor that we see him as in most of the books, he was like a famous dueling master.
Yeah.
Which I thought was so cool. That. I think it was on like the Pottermore, like learn about your house.
That maybe is probably
examples of famous Ravenclaws kind of thing.
That's probably where I read it, yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting because dueling, it's like such a competitive thing. In my mind, it's like very Slytherin.
Right.
But I can
You'd be like a Slytherin or a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Battling against each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I can totally see how a Ravenclaw would also be really good at that and would be really intellectual about it.
Right. It would be a very different style. I can see Professor Flitwick, you know, he would use a lot of different spells.
Yep, creative spells. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm very jealous of your guys' common room. Because when I was reading about the Ravenclaw common room, it's like, you have to walk up this spiral staircase. The ceiling is like painted to look like the night sky, and there's like silk curtains hanging and like bookshelves, and there are like giant windows, and I'm just very jealous of like the atmosphere of that, considering what the Slytherin common room looks like.
An actual dungeon.
An actual dungeon. But I definitely would have given the common room a makeover. I would have taken that into my Slytherin Hogwarts ambition during the course of my stay at Hogwarts. I would have given the common room a makeover.
I feel like the fact that Slytherin common room is a dungeon is almost like allegorical of the way that the books treat Slytherin as a house. It's like, you
just
guys
get down there.
You know, this is where you live. This isn't where you are when you're bad. This is just where you are all the time.
In the dark, in the mildewiness.
Yeah.
The last thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is similar to what we were talking about like Slytherins and Ravenclaws having a similar ambition, but it plays out differently. Mm-hmm. One of the things that it said when I was like reading about Ravenclaws is that they often end up, whatever they do, they want to achieve a certain level of it. Mm-hmm. So like being a teacher, or being the head of the class, or being like a prefect. In whatever field they go into, they want to get to that level where they're a step above other people. And it's not like Slytherins where it's like, I just want to be the best. They just want to achieve that level.
Yeah.
And that is very much you. Well, you're really a natural teacher, and that's been the case since you were like a kid. Mm-hmm. But even in what you do now in your job, in whatever field you've been in, you always end up being in, like you're a good leader in that sense, because you're a good teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been like a joke in our family almost. It's just what always happens.
Yeah.
It's like I end up teaching people, like I always end up moving up. Mm-hmm. Positionally in whatever job I'm in, mm-hmm. because I start teaching people who are newer, and so it's always just been like a part of every job that I've had, but it's officially like a part of my job now, mm-hmm. because I run the coffee program at a French bakery, so a large part of my job is teaching new employees how to be baristas.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a natural part of who I am, I think. I talk about things a lot, even when it's not like officially something that I'm doing or something I'm being paid for.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends will refer to it as like a will lecture. I'll just sort of start talking about something, and then I realize how big of a topic it is that I've started talking about, and I'm like, oh no, I'm already in it. I might as well just talk for the next 30 minutes about, 60s folk music. As far as it like connects to the ambition, it is also interesting with Slytherin. There's an ambition for ambition's sake kind of idea.
Yep.
And then for Ravenclaw, there's almost like a sense where it's like they want to achieve something, but then once they do, that's really it. It's like, okay, I did something. The next step with people like that is teaching. And then when they don't really have that much left to do, they try to pass it down.
Right.
You know?
Whereas the Slytherin will be like, there's got to be something else.
There's more.
There's
a
more.
Higher level.
I know there is.
Yeah. If there isn't, I'll make it.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the Ravenclaw, it's like I said, it's the dragon's hoard. Like they gathered it, and now they're like, okay. Now I nap for 1,000 years.
I think one of the reasons I think this stuff is so interesting is just because, like, when you see the differences in people, you see how valuable it is. So I'm a more personally driven person. So, like, my ambition is just more about me, which sounds selfish, but like you need people like that because they achieve things. And then you have like the more like Ravenclaw way of ambition that kind of like spreads it outwards a little bit. And then you'd have like the Hufflepuff who's like way outwards.
Right.
And then the Gryffindor. I don't really know what the Gryffindor is.
I feel like there's a connection between a Gryffindor and like a Slytherin. Mm-hmm. I think they could fall within that same realm of like wanting to do something no one else has done before, but it wouldn't be for them as an individual. Like, I want to do something that will help people in a way that's never been done before.
Yeah, Gryffindors are more like team players.
It would be like a team effort kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I've always seen like Gryffindor and Hufflepuffs as partners.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ravenclaws and Slytherins.
Yeah.
As being partners.
Yeah.
And I feel like in that kind of area, you can kind of see why that would work well. Like Gryffindors and Hufflepuffs working together as a team for like a common goal. And then like Ravenclaws and Slytherins more focused on themselves doing something for a specific reason.
Ravenclaws and Slytherins go well together, and Gryffindors and Hufflepuffs go well together.
Yeah.
And then Gryffindors and Slytherins are good opposites.
Right.
And Ravenclaws and Hufflepuffs are good opposites.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's an interesting kind of diamond thing.
you know.
It's one of these. It's one of these guys right here. That was like in middle school. Everyone would do
Superman.
That. Yeah. I don't think it was for Superman. I don't know what it actually means. Are you talking about the S? The middle school S. You don't know what I'm talking about?
I think I do, but like, this is important content. I'm scared my camera's gonna die while we're looking up the middle school S.
That.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Thankfully, we didn't waste much time thanks to the Google Pixel.
Hashtag spawn.
Sponsor.
I wish. See, in my mind that was Superman.
No, I don't think it was Superman. I don't think it even stood for anything. Did you do it correctly? Like when you drew it, were you doing the 6 lines?
Yeah.
I think it was just because of that. Like everyone thought it was cool to have a way of doing that. I don't think it meant anything. Comment
down below if you experienced this one, and also if there's any kind of significance.
Young millennials, older Gen Zers, comment below.
That's it for this video. As always, comment down below your Hogwarts house.
And never ask me again what mine is on an Instagram Live.
Yeah, every time we do an Instagram Live, we get that question at least 4 times.
Like 5 times. It's Ravenclaw.
Also, if you are a Ravenclaw and you've taken the Enneagram test, I would be really curious to know, like, comment your Enneagram type and your Hogwarts house, even if you're not a Ravenclaw. If you know your Enneagram type and your Hogwarts house, comment them down below.
For sure. Where my 4-wing 5 Ravenclaws at, gang. You can take that out if you don't want me saying gang in there.
I hope that you guys have a lovely... Will, you're ruining my brand.
I'm sorry. I'm not on brand.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely day, or night, or afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, and I also hope that you had a lovely Christmas. Thank you for all the Merry Christmas wishes that I got. Okay, that's it.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
I kissed with one hand and blew with the other. I had a leftover kiss on this hand that I needed to get rid of.
Now you have a leftover kiss on the other hand.
Well, no, because I went like this.
Oh, you threw it up.
I threw it out.
It was like that dance move that people do where they're like... Pentagon does that? They like... they like throw it up and they're like, hey! I'll show you later. It's a K-pop thing.
I've seen it, but...
Okay.
It can't help focusing on me.
I know. It just really wants to focus on you.
Or...
Those are like, what just happened?
I started talking mid-sip.
Will!
So the coffee just kind of spilled out
You
my
pulled
mouth.
a Harry Potter and Cho
I did do that. That's the best scene in the whole movies.
The last thing that I probably should not be doing this while I talk.
The last thing that I want to talk about.
Stop leaning out of frame.
Oh, sorry.
Like I've said a couple times now. Huh?
Sorry, I spilled some coffee.
Is it a decent amount of coffee?
No, but it's on my hand, so I need to go clean it up.
Okay, go ahead. Will.
You keep talking.
No. That just reminded me of that BTS interview when they're like, it's the same interview but a different part where he's just like,
oh yeah. Gosh, why do they do that?
I don't know.
Did you hear my back crack when I turned to look at the thing? Ugh, I'm such an old man. It's awful. I'm gathering my thoughts over there.
They're over there in the corner.
Over here.
You gotta pull them out.